Hi fashion lovers, you're welcome to another interesting video. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to sew this long pencil skirt with hip and underbelt cuff contour. In the previous video, we learned how to draft it, and this is the well-detailed sewing tutorial of this skirt. So if it is something you want to learn, you need to keep watching. Don't forget to like and share and put a comment for me on the comment section. Let's get started. To get started, this is the fabric I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using an African print fabric and a lining. In my own case, I made use of one yard and a half, though I didn't finish the 1 yard and a half. So this is the front pattern. On the center front, we are going to be cutting it on fold. You're going to be adding ½ inch on your waist, and then you go ahead and add your side seam sewing allowance. Then you also need to add your hemming allowance. So this is the back part, and the back part is going to be cut in 2 pieces. On the zipper allowance, we have already added our 1 inch for the zipper allowance, so we are not adding any other allowance. So on the upper part, you add your ½ inch on the waistline and also on the side seam, and then you also add on the hem line. So this is my pattern. I've gone ahead to cut this out, and for this skirt I added like 3.5 inches for the hemming allowance on the down part. So you can decide not to, you can decide to add only 1 inch on your hemming allowance. So I will go ahead and cut all this out. So when I'm done cutting, this is what I have. So I've gone ahead to cut out the lining, and for me to cut out the lining, I folded in my hemming allowance on the main fabric and then went ahead to cut my lining. So I cut my lining the exact way I cut out the fabric. The only difference is that on the hemming allowance of the fabric, I folded it in before cutting the lining. So this is my fabric, this is the back part. So you want to go ahead and sew the dart or the dart of the 2 sides of this back. So you want to go ahead and sew the dart. The next thing is that I came down by 10 inches, and that is going to be my zipper allowance. So I will go ahead and mark like 22 inches. After that 22 inches is going to be my slit. So I went ahead and used 21 inch. Did you see? So from the 10 inches here to this 22 inches, I'm going to be sewing it. From the waist to the 10 inches is going to be my zipper allowance, and after that to the 21 inches I'm going to sew it, and this is going to be my slit side, like it's going to be the slit region, and I'm going to be sewing in between. So I use my pin to hold it. So this is the part that I'm going to be fixing my zipper. So after the zipper, you want to sew down to the 22 inches, or depending on the length you are using. So you want to go ahead and sew the dart for the front part on the 2 sides of the front part. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to sew that part, and this is the slit region of my skirt. So I will go ahead and attach my zipper on the center back, and this is my lining. Did you see? You also want to go ahead and sew the lining the way you also did for the fabric. So you want to also fold, because this is not going to be having a band, it's going to be a bandless skirt. So I'm going to be using my lining to cover up the waistline. So you want to match up your lining to the fabric, and then you go ahead and sew on the waistline by the ½ inch that you have added, the ½ inch sewing allowance that you have added. And when you are done, you want to push your lining down, because the lining is shorter than the fabric. You want to push the lining down to meet the hem of the fabric, and you sew by ½ inch. So this is the front part. Did you see now? So you want to also place the lining, the right side of the lining facing the right side of the fabric. I have gone ahead to sew the dart Did you see? So you want to also pin the lining, and then you want to go ahead and sew by ½ inch on that upper part. Push your lining down to the hemming part and sew by ½ inch. So when you are done, this is what you are going to have. Did you see? So the next thing you're going to do is to like push your fabric like this to sew the side seam. This is how it's going to be. You want to arrange this part, make sure everything aligns together, then you want to go ahead and sew the side. So because the lining is shorter, so that's how the fabric is going to be. That's how the effect of shortening your lining, did you see? That's how it's going to be. So you want to arrange this very well and sew the two side seams for the front. Then for the back now, this is what I have. I have fixed my zipper. I have also sewn the upper part and also sewn the down part. So the next thing now is to also arrange the back part and sew the side seams. Did you see? You want to arrange the back part as well. Did you see? And then you want to go ahead and sew the two side seam of the back. And when you are done making sure everything aligns together, you also want to sew the slit. So this is how you sew the slits. You want to hold the lining and the fabric together, and then from this point where the slit starts, then you sew to the hem part. Did you see? You sew by 1 inch, which is the allowance you added on that center back. So you also do the same for this, making sure the lining matches with the fabric, and then you go and sew. So for this part, because I want to achieve like a neat finishing, so I'm trying to like open the zip to the end. So because I want to sew like a neat finishing, I want to also close this part. Holding the lining and the fabric, you want to go ahead and sew it. Please don't sew on this zipper teeth. Just sew. Did you see I'm arranging it? Just sew to the end like this. Did you see? It's not going to affect anything. So after I was done, this is what I have. You can see the front. I have covered everywhere, and we have to open up a small space for us to be able to turn this to the right side. So I went ahead to open up a small space for me to be able to turn this to the right side. So when I was done, this is what I have. Did you see that point? That part that you opened, you want to go ahead and like sew it, like sew it on the sewing machine, secure that part. Did you see? So this is for the front, and this is the back. For the back as well, you can see I have sewn the zipper side. Did you see? I have closed everywhere. Did you see? I have also sewn the zip the slit and the zipper side as well. So I also want to go ahead and open up a small space for me to be able to turn this to the right side. So when I've turned it to the right side, this is what I have. Did you see that? Did you see how neat everything is? You can see how the inside is neat and how the right side is also neat. Did you see that? Everything is well arranged. You want to close this up. Did you see? You can see the curve from the back. Did you see the both side? And this is the slit. Everything is well arranged. So you can do this. You have achieved a very neat finishing. Did you see that? So the next thing, you want to go ahead and sew up this part. Did you see? You can use your hand needle or your sewing machine to sew up that part that you opened up. Did you see that? Then the next thing is to like turn this to the right side. You want to bring the front as well. You're going to be facing right side facing each other, and you're going to be sewing the right seam, the side seam. So you want to like match the side seam first, one of the side seam first. Did you see that? And then when you are done matching it up, you want to go ahead and sew by the seam allowance that you have. So I have like 1 inch left. I added 1.5. I have used ½ inch to turn the lining, so I have like 1 inch left. So after that, you also push your front part to the other side and go ahead and sew the side seam. The reason is because the front is shorter, like the front is shorter than the back, like in width. Did you see that? So you push it to the other side to sew as well. So after I was done, this is what I had. Did you see that? After I was done sewing, this is the final result. I didn't have to touch it. Everything was perfect. There was no trying to fit or whatever. Everything just fits perfectly well. So following the method that I taught on the drafting video, this is what you are going to be achieving. Imagine you have a bigger board. Trust me, the result is going to be very, very beautiful. For people that have a bigger board, the result is going to be very beautiful. So if you have enjoyed this video so far, kindly give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video as well. Please recommend this video to someone else. It might be of help to them. Thank you, and see you in my next video. Bye.